Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing my top 20 ranked quarterbacks for fantasy football in 2020. Now, this is just an early look into my mind, into my membrane when it comes to quarterbacks in fantasy football for 2021. Now, this list does not include any rookies that'll be drafted in 2021 because besides Trevor Lawrence, frankly, we have no idea where these guys are going to end up going, and we also have no idea kind of our lean on if those guys will be starters or not. A guy like Mac Jones, will he start day one? A guy like Justin Fields, all of these guys pretty much besides Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, who we think should be a Jet, we really have no idea if they're going to be day one starters in the league, so I would rather just save that for further down the line when we have a better idea about that. So again, this is just my early thoughts in June, July, August. We'll see these videos pop back up that I will make again, and I will go a little bit more in depth on each one because we'll have much more news, and then free agency obviously will have cleared completely up, so we'll have even better of an idea what teams are going to be looking like by then. So if you guys do enjoy this video and you want more content like this, I post fantasy football videos every single day. I also post videos talking about the NFL draft, so if you guys want some more knowledge on the NFL draft, or you just want to have a fun time watching more videos with me talking, I mean, I'm not some fucking NFL draft sharp. I'm much better at talking about fantasy football, and that is what we are doing today. So let's get into it. At number one, you can see, I'm pointing right at it, it's Patty Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. Now, I understand Patrick Mahomes probably won't finish as the quarterback one at the end of the season, but to me, he is just the best quarterback in the NFL, and he's super safe last season, finishing as quarterback number 4 through the 4th most touchdowns in the NFL, 2nd most passing yards. Sure, he doesn't necessarily have the rushing ability of the other guys in this list. I mean, he only rushed for 308 yards and 2 touchdowns, but at the end of the day, he is still just the best quarterback in the NFL. He is going to put up numbers. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. We hope they bring in another wide receiver in the draft, potentially to boost Pat Mahomes' fantasy value. We could hope the offensive line can protect him, which they didn't do in the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is a no-brainer pick as the number 1 quarterback off the board in fantasy drafts. He has the big name, and he lives up to the expectation. He has not been a bust in fantasy football yet. Sure, in 2019, he only ended up playing 14 games. Last year, he played 15 games. But at the end of the day, the guy is just so consistent week in, week out, that I feel like if you put him anywhere besides number 1, you're kind of just kidding yourself at this point. He's the number 1 guy, clearly. Not a super big deal to kind of break this guy down in depth. So we're going to move on to the next guy, and that is the Stallion, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Now, Josh Allen is, bar none, in my opinion, my favorite guy to watch in the NFL play the quarterback position. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh, Nick, fucking Pat Mahomes, the guy you just talked about, is my favorite to watch, blah, blah, blah. I understand. I love watching Pat Mahomes as well, but the fact that Josh Allen, I think Josh Allen can throw the ball further than Patrick Mahomes, and he just does all this crazy stuff, and he's so underrated compared to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, everyone knows he's the best guy in the league, right? Josh Allen, this guy's sneaky. People were disliking him. They're putting all this negativity on his name. I've been pumping this man up 2019, 2020, ever since I've been making fantasy videos. I've been talking about how much I love Josh Allen, and frankly, it's still true. I'm a Dolphins fan. I got Dan Marino in the background. I got the Dolphins logo in the background, but I love Josh Allen. Just straight up, this guy is just so entertaining. His first year in the NFL, he had a 52% completion ratio. And people are like, oh, he's never going to be able to fix that. He's always going to be overthrowing these guys. Then, second year, 58.8% completion ratio. He ups it even more. Last year, 69.2, as Borat would say. That is very nice. So, he's just continuing to get more accurate. They bring in Stephon Diggs. This offense is loaded like a fucking griller at Taco Bell. 396 completions on 572 attempts, 4,544 yards, 37 tugs, passing, 10 interceptions, 8 rushing touchdowns, 421 rushing yards. What is there not to like about Josh Allen? He's on an offense that's amazing. He is going to be dominant in the AFC East. Now, these teams are getting better, though. The Patriots won't be a pushover. The Jets are not a pushover. The Dolphins are not a pushover. But he's still going to play very good, even up against one of the tougher defenses in the Dolphins. This guy this year just absolutely torched them. 34 points, week 2. Week 17, the guy played like half the game after he destroyed my Dolphins' hopes of making the playoffs. 19 fantasy points in like half the game, threw 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I am not at all worried about a potential reduction of Josh Allen falling down a little bit last year, finishing as the quarterback 1. I believe he can do it again. Josh Allen is just so interesting to watch. Plus, he is, in my opinion, maybe not the best rushing quarterback. Maybe Kyler Murray technically is, but he's one of them, which is obviously a huge addition in fantasy football because you only have to pass. You have to pass the ball 25 yards to get 1 point, but if he rushes the ball, he only has to rush 10 yards to get 1 point. So that's obviously a huge boost in fantasy football. So I like Josh Allen a lot here, coming in at number 2. At number 3, we have Kyler Murray, short king out of Arizona. Now, Kyler Murray is the kind of a guy that I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of when they drafted him. I was like, man, this guy's a little short. Now, I still kind of pumped him up fantasy-wise after I saw him play in preseason in 2019. You can go back, watch the tape. I talked about Kyler and how I liked him, and his rookie season, he played quite well, but his second year showed up even better. It was just like kind of how Josh Allen got Stephon Diggs. Kyler Murray gets DeAndre Hopkins, and his game gets elevated even further. 16 games his rookie year, 16 games his sophomore year. He threw for 3,971 yards last season, 26 tugs, and 12 INTs, as well as rushing the ball for 800 yards and 11 touchdowns. So that does kind of kill, oh, maybe Josh Allen's a better rusher than him, blah, blah, blah. They're both going to score a lot of rushing touchdowns. I think Kyler is in a very good situation in Arizona. There is still potential that they end up bringing in another weapon to this offense in the NFL draft. Sure, maybe they draft J.C. Horn, maybe they draft a corner, maybe they draft someone else on defense, but there's still a shot. Maybe, just maybe, they bring a guy like Najee Harris who makes it even harder to defend this offense. I think Kyler Murray is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and he should be very happy at his spot at number 3. At number 4, we got Dakota Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know a lot of people, Dak is one of those quarterbacks that you either love him or you fucking hate this guy. I made a video talking about Dak a couple of weeks ago, and people were giving me all of this negativity. Oh, Dak's not this, Dak's not that. I understand that Dak only played a couple of games last season, but frankly, the guy is very talented, and we have seen it the whole time he's played in the NFL. Sure, he's coming off of a major injury, and that is kind of something to worry about, and that's something you monitor going into your draft, obviously. When you're drafting, you have to know, maybe in August, oh, it's not looking as well, so then you run away from it. But right now, with the modern medicine we have, I'm not really concerned at all about that injury to Dak Prescott. I assume he is going to be good to go for week 1 and should be good to go relatively early on in the season. In the offseason, I really should say. So Dak's been in the NFL for 5 years now. This will be his 6th year in the NFL, obviously getting that nice contract that I personally did not believe he would see. But hey, he ended up getting it. Last year, in his 5 games played, 4 games started because he ended up getting hurt up against the New York Football Giants. Threw the ball 222 times for 151 completions, 68 completion percentage, one off of being very nice, 1,856 passing yards, 9 passing touchdowns, 4 INTs, and 3 rushing touchdowns. He is also pretty talented at rushing the ball, and he's going to snag a couple touchdowns from Zeke on the goal line. Dak Prescott showed last year why he is so good. This offense is loaded with weapons. He probably has the best offense weapon-wise. I guess technically Mahomes is better because of Hill and Kelsey, but 3 wide receivers-wise, they have the best trio, menage a trois, in the NFL. They've got Michael Gallup, they've got Amari Cooper, and they got CeeDee Lamb. Lamb exploded last year. Gallup, still pretty good. Amari Cooper, really good. This is just a loaded offense. They like to score points. I understand their defense is a bit bad, but I think they end up addressing that. I really just think Dak Prescott is so safe in fantasy football. He has the rushing upside, but he's also going to sling the rock a lot during the game, and I'm very confident that we see what we saw early on in last season out of Dak Prescott, besides the fact that I don't think they're going to have to be crawling into the games as much, hopefully, because the defense ends up improving, because if it doesn't, the Cowboys are going to be down tremendous next season. And closing out the top 5, we have Justin Herbert, the pervert. Now, I know there are going to be those people that are like, oh, Nick, you fucking hate Justin Herbert. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably think that because I like to get into some internet duels with the Justin Herbert stands as a joke because, frankly, I'm pretty sure 99% of people thought Justin Herbert would be a certified fucking bust. Like he was getting one on like fucking Mia Malkova all over the face type of bust right there. So I'm thinking that I don't love him going into the draft. Everyone is not loving him. He goes to the Chargers. Everyone's like, dude, he's not going to do anything. Tyrod's going to play. Tyrod Taylor's doctor fucking hits him with the 1-2 special to the lung, stabs him down. And now you're like, oh man, Justin Herbert's coming in against the Chiefs. There's no way he does anything. I'm like, holy shit, this is hilarious. He gets to play before Tua, though. Pretty sad for me as a Dolphins fan. I wanted to see Tua early on. Tua plays all right. Herbert plays fucking amazing. Wins Rookie of the Year in that game against the Chiefs. Lights them up like Snoop Dogg on a fucking Tuesday night. 311 passing yards, 1 tug, 1 INT, 1 rushing touchdown, 22 fantasy points. Should have won the game, but I believe the kicker choked again. That was like week 2. My memory does not necessarily suit me for things that happened a zillion weeks ago at this point, but I mean, Justin Herbert did look very good last year. 666 like little Nas X over there in the passing percentage, 4,336 passing yards, 31 passing touchdowns, 10 INTs, 5 touchdowns. In the rushing category, 5 touchdowns, 31 passing touchdowns, 10 INTs. What's not to like about this? 10th highest passing touchdowns, quarterback 10 on the season, 6th highest passing yards at the quarterback position. He has good weapons as well. I mean, I understand, Hunter Henry is gone. They bring in Jared Cook, who gives a fuck. It's like it's just like a swap. Like, Hunter Henry, sure, he's better, but Jared Cook's still good. Keenan Allen's great, amazing, one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. Mike Williams does show flashes of being very good. They're going to probably bring in offensive linemen to protect Mr. Justin Herbert, and I think we see an even better season out of him. I understand, Nick, maybe he will decline slightly, won't be as accurate, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, I think if Herbert plays a full 16 games with a head coach that isn't so dumb, Anthony Lynn might be one of the worst head coaches I have ever seen grace the NFL. That's how dumb this guy is. He's so stupid, but now he's gone. Fucking crab dance, he's gone. So I am very excited to see what Justin Herbert can do without being handicapped by Anthony Lynn. Hopefully, he gets it done in 2021. I mean, he already won Rookie of the Year. He just has to do slightly better this year, and will probably finish as a top 5 quarterback, assuming that the coach that they brought in actually works and is not Anthony Lynn 2.0. If you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out this content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 Fantasy Football League. So we begin at 6, the new slide, with Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Lamar Jackson is what one can only describe as a disappointment last year. Coming off the hot season. Coming off of balling 2 years in a row. 2019, amazing. 2020, all right? Just about all right. Finishes as quarterback 9, 26 passing touchdowns, 12th most in the NFL, 22nd highest in passing yards. But again, it's all about the rushing ability. 1,005 yards 2020, 1,206 rushing yards in 2019. The guy's very good. But my issue with Lamar is just the fact that the team seems like they don't understand that they need to get this guy weapons, or the fact that the weapons just are not coming in. It's like they have a fucking weapons ban there or something, because like all these guys are like, oh fuck, I don't want to go play with Lamar. Maybe they just don't believe in Lamar Jackson. I don't know. It seems like Lamar Jackson is getting the short end of the stick because he's throwing the ball to these guys and they just have butterfingers or something. I really don't understand it. Lamar, while he's not necessarily like some type of elite fucking passer, his legs do everything for him. He's a very good player, one of the better NFL quarterbacks, so I'm not going to knock him too much. I make jokes about how, Lamar sucks, but there will be leagues where Lamar goes as like the first or second quarterback, and in that case, I find that stupid, but I still think he's fine. Quarterback 6 has top number 1 potential, obviously, if the team ends up bringing in the correct pieces around him for him to really succeed in 2021. I expect 1,000 rushing yards yet again, and if he's able to throw like 3,000 passing yards with that, he's a shoo-in to be a top 5 guy. I got him as quarterback 6 right now. At number 7, we have Mr. Discount Double Check, Aaron Rodgers. Now, if we're talking about the draft, this is a team that I fully expect to do absolutely nothing to help out Aaron Rodgers. We thought in 2020 they're going to bring in a guy like Denzel Mims. They're going to bring in a wide receiver to open this offense up and unload it all over Johnny Sin style onto the defense. But no. No, you know what they do in the first round? You guys obviously know. You watch football. They drafted fucking his backup, Jordan Love, out of Utah State. Come on, man. What are they doing? This year, they'll probably just draft no tackle. Sure, they need a no tackle, but it's not sexy. They need to bring in a guy like Rashad Bateman, Kadarius Toney, Terrace Marshall, something. Some piece of offense that's going to help Aaron Rodgers out. Man, like, what the fuck? But he finished as quarterback 3 last year, number 1 in passing tugs, almost through 50, 48 passing touchdowns, 4,292 passing yards, 7th highest in the NFL. Sure, this guy's like a statue in the pocket, but still rushed for 3 touchdowns last year, his high since 2016, where he rushed 4 rushing touchdowns, so don't expect that. But hey, he's not necessarily a statue. He'll still get a couple touchdowns in the rushing category. Aaron Rodgers, the MVP, not to be mistaken with the MVP in Mr. Kissin' Titties Mitchell Trubisky, now backup of the Buffalo Bills. Aaron Rodgers had a hell of a season. I think in 2021, I see a decent regression, but I'm not saying he's going to fall out of the top 10. Last year, I was banging the drum. I was like head of the fuck Aaron Rodgers club. I was thinking it was all going to go down, and I don't know why I thought that. It's because in 2019, the team just seemed fraudulent. They make the NFC Championship, they lose, they do the same thing this year, but it's like, I don't know why I was so off of Aaron Rodgers. Looking back, it's like, Nick, what are you thinking? Now, I'm still fading him a little bit, but I mean, quarterback 7, that's nothing to scoff at. Still going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. Still has a good team around him. But man, has the front office just failed to bring this guy in a wide receiver too? Allen Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Who the fuck are those guys compared to who you should be drafting in the first round? Man, I don't know, but I still do like Aaron Rodgers as quarterback 7. Think he has a solid opportunity to finish top 5, just like all these top 10 guys do. At number 8, we have Desean Watson. Now, with Desean Watson, I have no idea what is going to happen. No idea. Every single day, the number of cases alleged against this guy just goes up. I don't know if he did it. I'm not going to say if I think he does or if I think he didn't. I legitimately have zero idea. And what I've read, it seems like we're never going to know what the fuck's happening at this point. If Desean Watson did it, obviously he's a terrible person. That goes without saying. Obviously. He's on the Houston Texans now. Is he on the Houston Texans this year? I have no idea because I don't know if a team's going to be able to trade for a guy with this many allegations against him. I have no idea. So we're not even really going to break him down too much. If he plays next year, he's probably a top 5 quarterback given the situation he's in. But as of right now, I just don't know what to talk about him. He played great last year. Does amazing. But I don't want to pump the tires up of a guy that may have done what he may have done. So again, I don't really know. I think he'll be good if he plays. And that's about all I'm going to say about him. At number 9, we have Russell Wilson, who wants to leave the Seattle Seahawks. It seems like he's perfectly fine being a Seattle Seahawk. I genuinely have no idea. This guy comes out the season throwing 7 million touchdowns every single game and then kind of pitter-patters off towards the end of the season. Like, let me just read these numbers real quick. Weeks 1 through 8, we'll read the numbers. So, 4 touchdowns against Atlanta, 5 against New England, 5 against Dallas. These are passing touchdowns. 2 against Miami, 3 against Minnesota, 3 against Arizona, week 7, and against San Francisco, week 8, 4 touchdowns. And then after that, week 9, so we see like half-season split here. Week 9 versus Buffalo, 2 touchdowns, then 0, 2, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 2. Once the team started playing defense, once Pete Carroll, that gum-chewing motherfucker, decided to change narratives on us, it's like they're running the ball more, man. I don't know what is going on. Russell Wilson's amazing, but don't be surprised if we see more of the second half of the season. So that's why I'm a little bit worried about Russell Wilson. Again, he's not a bad quarterback. He's very good, and he does have some rushing upside. I mean, he rushed for 500 yards last year, 2 touchdowns, which is nothing to scoff at. Threw for, 4,212 passing yards, 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, second highest passing touchdowns, 9th highest passing yards, quarterback 6 overall. So I'm not saying he's going to fall off, but it is a little worrisome when you're looking at the splits from the beginning of the season to the back half of the season. So that's why I got him as quarterback number 9 on this season. At number 10, to close out the top 10, we have Matthew Snapback of the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I am the biggest Matthew Stafford guy. I literally made a video the other day. He's on the fucking thumbnail. I pretty much got on my knees and gave this guy the Gawk Gawk 9000 special. I love Matthew Stafford, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, I understand people are going to talk about all these narratives where he won't be great, and I understand it, but I love the Rams. I literally should buy a fucking Sean McVay fathead and slap it on the fucking... How many times I'm going to say that word in the next 5 minutes? Probably 10 if you keep count, but right on the wall, right underneath the thing that this man made me. Shout out to him. Link down. I've actually talked about it a bunch of times. The man who made this thing. It says Notorious Fantasy Nick. Shout out to that man. Salty Sack Creations. Fucking goat, but said it again. But I should put a fat head back there of like Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay because I just love this combo. It's like bacon and eggs type of combo here. So Stafford, all of his stats from the past, you can throw out the fucking window pretty much. Besides the fact that from those numbers, you can just gauge that he's really good. 4,000 passing yards from 2011 to 2017. 2011 threw for 5,000 passing yards. 2012 was 40 away from throwing for 5,000 passing yards. 2019, when he gets hurt, plays 8 games, throws for 2,499 passing yards. 4,000 last year on a terrible Detroit team. I mean, what more do you need to know? This guy literally makes the Pat Mahomes plays. He makes the no-look passes, but Bleacher Report doesn't fucking suck this guy off. You don't see it. But if you watch a Lions game, now you're going to be watching these Rams games because the Rams actually get fucking put on television. Again, another F word. So, like, you're going to see it. I'm telling you, Stafford is in for a humongous year. Stafford, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. I mean, Van Jefferson, that's not a big name. Cam Akers. Big names here. Big offense. The Fab Four. Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Bobby Trees, that is, and Cam Akers. The Fab Four, not the Fab Five to be mistaken, from Michigan. Lions used to play in Michigan. It makes you think, or they do play in Michigan. Now he's a Ram. I love Stafford. I'm really bought in on this. This offense is potent. It's going to be great. Let me tell you. So that's all I got to say about Stafford. I just love him. No need to pull in any stats because the stats are from his old team. And I did already bring in the stats because they're really fucking good. Even another one, DJ Khaled, even on a bad team. So next up here, we got quarterbacks 11 through 15. Again, if you have ended up enjoying thus far, you made it this far through all of this ranting, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. So number 11, we have my boy, Ryan Tannehill, former Miami Dolphin. Thank you, Tannehill, for all you did for the Dolphins. It is not your fault that you were not very good there. You were very good in Tennessee because you're the only 10 I see, and I'm sipping on some Hennessy, but I'm not a rapper. Quarterback 8 last season, coming in at number 11 on my rankings. 34 passing touchdowns, 7th most in the NFL, 15th most passing yards. The reason why I kind of have him at 11 is because, to me, kind of when you're in the Rodgers to Tannehill area, these guys could all fucking be interchanged, in my opinion. Tannehill is on a team that likes to run the ball a decent amount with Derrick Henry. Now, if you notice, it's more later on in the season when you start to see the brigade of rushing, because for some reason, once it gets a little bit cold, a bit frigid in Tennessee, Derrick Henry just becomes the menace that he is. I mean, the guy rushed for, 2,000 yards last year? So he had to have played good all season, which he did, but he just starts heating it up. He gets that, what is it called in NBA Street or NFL Street? It's like on fire. Maybe NBA Jam is the on fire, but it's something... Game breaker, maybe. I don't remember. Game breaker is what it's called. He gets that where you just can't tackle him. He's like crazy like that. But again, we're not talking about running backs, Nick. We're talking about quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill, sheesh, he's pretty good at rushing the ball too. 7 rushing tugs last year, 266 rushing yards, threw for 33 touchdowns, 7 INTs. I mean, nothing sexy about Tannehill, but there's no real downside. He's just a real safe play. So that's why I kind of have him as quarterback number 11. At number 12, we have Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, Super Bowl winner, that motherfucker, man. I mean, I used to not like Tom Brady because he was on the Patriots. I kind of like him now in the Bucks. He's pretty funny. I mean, he was white girl wasted at the WGW, as you would call it, after the Super Bowl parade party. That shit was hilarious. But again, Tom Brady, man, threw for 40 touchdowns last year, second highest in the NFL, 4,616 passing yards. third in the NFL, 7 finishes quarterback 7. I mean, like, dude, how old is this guy? And, like, there's no reason to say he's not going to be a top 12 quarterback. This guy got drafted in 2000. I was born in 1999. This guy has been playing for so long. 22 seasons. I'm almost 22 years old. This guy is so fucking old. Man. I respect him, obviously. Like, he's going to play good again. There's no doubt about it. The same team is back. They have all the same starters from last year. They're going to run it back turbo, probably win the Super Bowl again, and just piss right on everyone who hates Tom Brady. He's going to play good again. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, him, and then fucking Scotty Miller. It doesn't even matter who the third guy is. They just will rotate guys in and out. It does not matter. The offense is so good. Antonio Brown may be back, man. It is so amazing how good this offense is. Even if the guys can't catch the dump-offs in Fournette, in Rojo, eventually they will be able to. Guy's probably going to throw, I'd say, 35 touchdowns again. Like 13 INTs. He's probably just going to go off again. He rushed for 3 touchdowns last year. This guy, literally, he gets 6 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0.2 average, because he just only does it at the 1-yard line. He's going to be good again. Nothing really to talk about here. The guy's the GOAT. Nothing too much to say. At number 13, we have Jalen Hurts. Now, recently, Jalen Hurts has been slandered, not by me, but by the organization. Comes out that maybe they wanted a quarterback early, but they're like, man, like, it seems like they wanted Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, but they couldn't get him at where they were, so they traded back. Seems like the situation they were in. Very weird. Very, very weird for the Philadelphia Eagles. But hey, now they're where they're at. Jalen Hurts is their guy. Very good at rushing. Only played 4 games last year, but looked solid, right? He didn't look bad. He just really seems like a very high upside player based upon the rushing ability that he has and the ability that the Eagles offense just should be better, strictly based off the fact that they should have better weapons this season. The wide receivers should be able to develop. Another thing is Hurts wasn't the guy going into the season. Wentz was, so maybe now with a full offseason of Hurts being the guy with the new head coach, I'm thinking Hurts can be very good. Threw for 1,000 passing yards in just 4 games. 6 passing touchdowns, 4 INTs, 357 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, the 357 rushing yards in 4 games is fucking impressive. If he's able to rush for 1,000 yards, this guy will be a top 10 guy, potential top 5 guy. I really do like Jalen Hurts. There's just not too many numbers to really back up my thinking. It's just more of what I saw when he was on the field, and I just feel like this Eagles team is going to be much better for the second rounder drafted out of Oklahoma. And number 14, the guy drafted ahead of him, the number 1 pick in the draft, Mr. Joey B out of LSU. Now, Joe Burrow was getting his shit rocked. I wish I had the number of sacks this guy was taking. He was taking sacks to the face like his name was Riley Reed, okay? It was crazy. The offensive line was just split apart, legs wide open, getting pounded by these dudes on the defense. And Joe Burrow stood no chance. I felt bad for him. I really did. Played in 10 games, 2,688 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 INTs, 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, he didn't look super special, but what the fuck was he supposed to... Another F-bomb, sorry guys, but I mean, like, what is he supposed to do? He's just getting rocked back there. And now, hopefully, they draft Penny Sewell if they draft Jamar Chase. I'm a Dolphins fan. I want Jamar Chase at 6, so I hope that they don't draft him. Or I want Kyle Pitts, but, man, if they draft Chase, I mean, I know Burrow wants it because they're boys from college. 2019, they smoke it up, win the national championship. It's amazing, right? But, man, he needs that protection. He needs the fucking Trojans on. He needs the condoms. He needs the offensive line to block for him. I really think he'll be good. I think he's very safe. I just hope the Bengals are much better in 2021 to account for how I feel he's going to do. At number 15, we got Matty Ice Baby. Dun 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 dun. Now, there seems to be a lot of steam that maybe Atlanta is running it back turbo with Matt Ryan for the future, and they're not drafting a quarterback this year. Maybe. Now, Matt Ryan is what I can only define as the back and forth quarterback. This guy will finish as like a top 12 guy, then fall out of the top 12, then be a top 12 guy. Now, last year was supposed to be the big year, so that's why he's at 15, because typically that's where he finishes in these every other year formations. It's just a concept I've developed over time. I've talked about it on my channel a bunch. 2019, didn't like him because that was his off year. 2020, choo-choo, all aboard, played not so good. So maybe now the curse is reversed. Maybe he's going to be really good this year, but I don't think he'll be great, and I do worry about the fact that if they draft a guy, that the fans, the ownership are not just going to bring in Justin Fields, Trey Lance, whoever it is. Mac Jones, I don't know who it'll be. He comes in, and then Ryan is done for the season, which is why he's back here at 15. He's just a safe play, nothing super sexy, just about all right. That's really just what Joe Burrow and Matty Ice Ice Baby are, but I think Joe Burrow definitely has a whole lot more upside than Mr. Matty Ice Ice Baby. And now on to quarterback 16 through 20. We begin with Carson E.W. Wentz. Now, Carson Wentz, that offense in Philly was terrible with him under center. This guy looks like he had zero confidence last season. It literally looked like he had zero idea what was going on in Philly. Just what it seemed like. Finished as quarterback 22, played in 11 games. But now he's in Indianapolis with much better weapons. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, better offensive line, better defense. So you would think that it's going to turn around. Frank Reich, who was on that season where Carson Wentz was probably going to win MVP in 2017, when that was, or 2018, whenever they won the Super Bowl. So Carson Wentz is also kind of one of those guys that might be injury prone. That's what they say about him. I'm not saying that, but that's what they say about him. So I like Wentz. I think it's a new opportunity in Indianapolis to be very good, but I'm not super sold in. I was a couple weeks ago, and I've kind of pivoted a little bit back on the Ginger Man in Carson Wentz. At number 17, we have Derek Carr of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Derek Carr is one of those guys who is just too good to be traded, but will never be super sexy. But he finishes quarterback 13 last year, severely underrated, very good in my opinion, but I just don't know how I rank him above the guys ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? Or behind, in front of him. Like, I like Carr, but I don't see the upside of Carr when I'm, like, Hurts, that guy could be a top 5 guy. I just don't feel like Carr can because of the weapons around him in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. I mean, what is John Gruden doing? Brings in Kenyon Drake. They already have Jonathan Taylor. He says Kenyon Drake's going to be the slot guy. Dude, I don't know. John Gruden must... What is that movie? Oh, it's from Happy Gilmore. And he's like, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast? It's like, I think that's what John Gruden eats for breakfast. The guy seems like an airhead at this point. 27 passing touchdowns last year, 11th at the quarterback position, finishes quarterback 13, 11th highest passing yards with 4,100. 27 tugs, 9 INTs, throws the ball a bunch, 3 rushing touchdowns. Nothing sexy about Derek Carr, severely underrated in my opinion, but the weapons around him scare me. Aguilar was the best guy, and he is gone. He is gone. Ruggs, will he step up? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I feel bad for Carr. This guy was like on MVP. Whenever I had him in fantasy, it was like, I was not making videos back then. It was like 2015, 2016, 2017, sometime around there. This guy's looking like the MVP, and he fucking hurts his leg. And it's like, damn. This guy was going to be the MVP. The Raiders were on fire, and he played really good. He's been in the NFL for 8 years. He's just an unappreciated player. But again, nothing sexy about Derek Carr. Besides him, he's a sexy guy. At number 18, we have Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, I'm not sure if Big Ben is... I don't know what to think about Big Ben because he looked good in that playoff game, but he also looked terrible. Quarterback 14 last year, but are the wheels going to fall off? He's been in the league for 18 years. Is this, like he always looks hurt. I'm telling you, if you ever look at the injury report, this guy's on the injury report every single week. Right now, I don't even think they take injury reports, but his name's probably on there. Like, is he still good? Is he bad? Like what happened? Like, the Steelers were so good, then they fall off a cliff. I mean, Big Ben wasn't really lighting it up in that stretch either. He looks good against Cleveland, but he also looks bad. Signs that 1-year deal. I mean, like, what are we to think? What are we to think about it? I don't know. That's my issue with Ben, is I could see Ben being a top 10 guy, but I could also see the wheels severely falling off in this final season to the point where I'm just not looking to really draft him. So he's quarterback 18. He's really good, but he's also so old that I think it's going to eventually just completely fucking faceplant for him. So quarterback 18 for Mr. Big Ben. Again, if you guys disagree with any of this, I'd love to talk to you guys in the comment section. Let me know. And I'll give you guys a special word in a couple of minutes when we're done. At number 19, you like that, Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I like Kirk, but he's another one of those guys where it's like you just draft him and you play him when your other quarterback's hurt. Just no upside, really. I mean, quarterback 11 last year, which is surprising. So he does have top 12 potential, but he's not going to be the number 5, right? He's just not. He's going to be like number 15 to or maybe quarterback 19, where I'm ranked 19 to 11. 35 passing touchdowns last year, 6th most in the NFL. 4,226 passing yards. 265 passing yards, I should say. What is sexy about Kirk Cousins for fantasy? They like to run the ball with Dalvin Cook. I think Jefferson will be good. I think Thielen will be good. So theoretically, he should be a little bit higher, but I just don't really want to be drafting Kirk Cousins as my starting quarterback. And at 20, my guy, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, you could literally put anyone here at 20. You really could. I think Tua's in for a big season. Didn't look great. Didn't look bad, though. Didn't look bad, but he didn't look great. Started 8 games. Gets tugged out of these games. He showed flat, some of these games, dude. Against Arizona, 21 fantasy points. Just skull fucks Arizona. They win that game. Kansas City, they're losing. He crawls back into the game, throwing the ball 48 times, 316 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, 1 rushing touchdown. Looks fucking great. But then there's these other games where he's just crawling into his shell and just being a flat-out pussy, throwing the ball. But I think with the full offseason of him being the guy, we're in for something big in 2021. So I'm bought in on Tua, but that might just be the Dolphins bias. I try not to be biased, but I wanted to talk about him in this video, and we wouldn't be able to if he was number 21. So thank 21. Shout out to 21 Savage. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I love you all. Down below, we need a word to comment. Comment down below. Let's think. Let's think of a word real quick. Something involving Hawaii for my boy Tua. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Stay safe. It's almost the weekend. Have fun. As always, good boy.